need to find this place or we'll be late.
Make a left on Astrology Avenue. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant right. It should be right here at 444 Spirit Way. Oh, turn!
It looks like Renee. Yay, we're on time.
The James and Kellee Show.
Great, let's start the show.
Hello!
Hi, honey.
I'm back.
I'm gonna come through there and give you a big hug. Oh, I'm so glad you're
I
back.
need it.
Oh, honey, I missed you.
I missed you, Kelly. I missed you. It's the first day I feel like I'm kind of going back to myself now. So a little of the fogginess is leaving, which is great.
Yeah. Was it a good trip?
It was a great trip. It was really great. It was very busy. Move. I mean, we didn't settle down for a day. My friend Janelle Campbell, Janelle was,
Of course, I know Janelle.
she came and helped out, and she did some wonderful readings for people. We did a lot of workshops and demonstrations through 4 different countries: Switzerland and England and Scotland and Dublin. And it was really fun working with people in the physical again,
Yeah, of course. And I bet everybody loved to see you.
They love, yeah. And it was a lot of different people from all over. They came from all over Europe to come to the different demonstrations. And it was fun working with Gordon Smith. And it was just a really...
What was that like working with Gordon?
He's a card. He's a wild card. Wild card, a great sense of humor. And we just love each other's sense of humor. We feed on each other and we understand each other, which is great. And he's always, I mean, it's a laugh a minute. And so it's it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It was great.
Good.
Doesn't take things too seriously, but yet seriously enough. So it works out really well. We're probably the oldest mediums out there that have been around for a little bit. And, very similar. And we don't take things overly seriously, but we do take the profession seriously. So it was great. Yeah.
That's so true. You have a Fidelima Hart from Ireland says hello to you.
Oh, hello. A great group in Dublin. Great group of people. Hi, Judy. Hi, everybody. Wow. Yeah, met some wonderful people here that are on our show, and they came to see me. So hello, everybody. And there were a lot. So hello, everybody.
Oh.
Dynamic duo again. How have you been, Kelly?
Oh, I've been fine. I went to Texas to see my grandchildren, and
Kids.
whoa, they're great. I came back with a cold, of course, because if you're around 4 and 6-year-olds, you're going to get sick.
That's right.
They are germ spreaders, but it was so much fun. And I had a lot of guests while you were gone. So I had some wonderful guests and lots of fun. Yeah.
Yes, I know you had Miss Livingston, right?
I had Michelle Livingston on last week for Halloween, and we had a great show. Yeah, it was really fun to have her on.
Yeah, she's her own. Very, very good.
Yeah.
And you're going through construction in your house right now.
Complete remodel. So, yeah, it's an unbelievable time here on the farm. Yes.
Thanks, Angela. Thanks, Heather. Thank you, Rita. Thank you. And Kelly, I know because we talked a little bit when I was in Europe, a little bit with WhatsApp, but it's been a crazy time astrologically. I know everybody's feeling such weird energy.
Yeah. Yes.
Sticky energy. And I remember you said, when are you coming back? I said, well, right after Halloween. And you said, good. And I said, and I felt that way. It was interesting because before I went on this trip, I said to you and some other people, I said, I didn't see an end to the month. I didn't see myself come back. I know what that meant. And it was really interesting because it wasn't, I wasn't afraid or anything fearful, but it was just so weird because every flight that we went for was changed or delayed. Every single flight was delayed. Airports were delayed. It was very strange. And it was weird, but it was, I didn't feel unsafe, but it was just felt weird. Even the flight itself felt weird.
Well, I can imagine. And you were traveling in the middle of eclipses too. You really, I was happy when you came home, frankly. But let's talk a little bit about November because we have an incredible guest on tonight. But I do want to hit upon a couple of things going on in November and that are really important because November has a lot of crisis points to it.
I love that.
Isn't that a good one, James? Crisis points. But I'm going to start with something that's positive. And the positive is that Saturn, which rules karma and our life lessons and responsibilities and work, it moved directly a couple of days ago. And because Saturn moved direct, it's going to make things now happen quickly. So things will move quickly.
Right? Easing up on things.
Well, I wouldn't say ease up, but
Okay.
what I would not use that during this period. I would love to say it, but I don't see that happening. But let's say you've been stalled in your career. Kaboom, it's going to start moving fast. Let's say you've been stalled in a meeting and been waiting for things to happen. Now's the time. Now things will start to move ahead. Like funny, James, but we got stalled in our remodel due to different things that we could not control. And now, boom, it is moving ahead. And the good news about that is Jupiter is really close to Earth. So that magnifies this energy of quick change. So this is a good thing.
And what is Saturn in and what is Jupiter?
Saturn, well, in Vedic astrology, Saturn is in Aquarius in Vedic astrology.
Okay.
And Jupiter, I believe, is in Aries in Vedic astrology. So it's going to shine a lot of energy to move forward. But let's
energy. Aries, a lot of energy.
But let's talk about this crisis point right now, because the first crisis point starts. It's actually between November 8th and November 13th. So November 8th to the 13th. But the exact day is November 10th. And that's with Mercury squaring Saturn. So Mercury is going to be in Scorpio in Vedic astrology, and it's going to square Saturn in Aquarius. And when this happens, when this Mercury squares Saturn, it's going to cause miscommunication, delays, misinformation. Miscommunication is the big thing because Mercury rules
communication. Yeah.
So that is going to be a challenge. And we also will probably see some difficult relations with figures of authority. So it's really what I would call a crisis point during that time. And again, it's from about November 8th to the 13th. Now, the second one, and then I'll do the rest on Thursday, on my Thursday show. But the second one is November 13th. And that's a very challenging crisis point. It's also, ironically, it's a 22 day. So a 22 day in numerology means you can build or you can destroy. It's a very powerful day. It's a master number day. But November 13th is a new moon in Libra in Vedic astrology. And so according to Vedic astrology, a new moon in Libra is one of the darkest days of the year. Wow. And that's because the sun is debilitated in Libra, and the new moon in Libra makes it very lethargic. But what makes this really problematic is this new moon in Libra conjuncts Mars. And a conjunction means when the planets are very close together in the sky and that their energies merge, and that amplifies this. So at the same time, on this 13th of November, it opposes Uranus, which is the planet of unexpected change. And what happens, and to make it simple, is it forms a triangle on this day, on the 13th. And this triangle is called a yod. And a yod means the finger of God. And it is to bring fate and destiny.
I was going to say it's a destiny point.
It's a destiny point. So expect November, and this is just the beginning. There are other crisis points in November as well. But here's the thing that I really want to stress. So what people can do during this time: accept change, avoid confrontation, and allow plans to be altered. You don't try not to get into confrontations during this time. I think that would be the best thing possible.
Go with the flow.
Go with the flow. Oh, you can't come to this? Okay, no problem.
Can't push the river. Got to go with the flow.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kellee, what about traveling? Like somebody after Thanksgiving and this time of the year, a lot of traveling going on. Will it be affected?
Oh, when we get, you betcha. I haven't even talked about those crisis points, but yes. Yeah, and there's some doozers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Everybody, to a lot of delays. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you from what I just
A lot of delays.
A lot of changes.
Yeah.
And I noticed a lot of flight attendants are nervous, and I'm saying across the board. The flights, I was in 10 different flights. Across the board, I was just taking it all in, and they all seem very edgy. So it will affect us. So be extra kind and compassionate.
Be extra kind. I love that.
Maybe get them a little a gift card, like a Starbucks coffee card.
That's so nice.
Yeah, get a gift card. It's something that they really feel appreciated, because it really is important that we honor them.
Yeah, I agree with that, James.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So
So
you want
tonight,
to tell everybody because this is
I
very
met this
exciting.
lady many years ago, and even though I don't know if she remembers, but I do. And it was Omega Institute in upstate New York, where I worked as an institute for studies for all different types of studying, from healing to cooking to yoga to all different types of things. And I met Danielle McKinnon, and she's an animal communicator. And when I met Danielle, she had a pixie-like haircut, which has changed, but she's always been so incredible. And we're doing four live workshops starting tomorrow night. And we want to talk to her about spirit communication. And please welcome my good friend here, Danielle McKinnon. Hey, Danielle.
Hi. I love the hair.
I wasn't sure.
It's so good to be here, you guys, even though it's the middle of the night.
Yeah, so you're in Massachusetts, correct? Or New Hampshire?
No, Maine.
You're in
Maine now.
Maine. Where in Maine are you, Danielle?
In York, which is pretty close to the seacoast.
Wow.
And it must be very dark there right now. And
It's dark. Those are all dark windows out there. My dog, where's my dog? She went to bed already.
Oh.
But I'm here for you
Yay!
guys.
Yay.
Thank you.
And Danielle, tell everybody your background and when you get started and how you noticed, when you started doing your work.
My background was, I did not intend for this to be my background. Did either of you ever intend for yeah.
No, I was in business. No.
Yeah, same. I was always super sensitive growing up.
Yeah.
We know that story.
Yep.
And I tried really hard to not be so sensitive, never worked. I ended up taking my dog when she got sick to a pet psychic. Which I had been told is not real. I was always interested, but I was always told this stuff. Those people are con artists. There's no such thing. Stay away from that. And when I took her to the pet psychic, he was able to talk with my dog and tell me why she was sick. She'd been in the hospital for 4 days and no one could figure out what was going on. And why she was sick because she'd eaten corn cobs and she'd eaten the corn cobs. She did pass. And then he also said, but she ate the corn cobs because she was so nervous because you and your husband have been fighting about your mother. And it was my mother-in-law, but I know that there's no chance she's watching this. And that kind of was for me the moment where I went, what am I doing in my life? Because I was in marketing, I was going down the whole business road, entrepreneurship, all this stuff. And it wasn't feeding me. So I knew, as soon as I knew that this was real, I was like, I got to change my whole life up. And this needs to be my thing. So that's kind of how I got my start.
So a real quick couple of questions. I got to throw this at you. Number one, did you see images when you were younger, when you were a little girl, see colors or lights, or you did?
No,
you did not.
One time I saw an image of, I think it was a deceased person running toward me. That was enough. I never went back in that room. And then when I was young, it was basically feelings. So I could walk in a room and feel what was going on. Somebody could pretend that they weren't upset, and I knew that they were upset. I knew it was feelings and knowings, but no seeing and no hearing. Mostly it was kind of like the hidden stuff.
And when you were a young girl, this is going to be a common one. Did you feel like you were weird, that you really, no one would understand you, or this was a weird type of thing? Or
James, I still feel like that. Yeah, I was definitely the strange one. I definitely was told you need to kind of try to be like everybody else, tone it down. You're going to cry when you go to the pet store, then you can't go to the pet store anymore. It really was, my family was really just trying to get me to like tamp it all down.
And how were you, Danielle, is such a good one, because how were you able to handle the sensitivity with animals, like walking to a pet store, feeling those animals? How were you able to work with that and deal with that? Was it overwhelming?
It still can be overwhelming. So as a little girl, I had hamsters and guinea pigs and rabbits, and I had them all. I had all the animals. And if I had all the animals, then I could control how I felt, what was going on, and I could control that I knew that they were okay because they were in my care. It was
interesting.
The neighbor's dog When I was a kid, my mom told me, I don't know, why would my mom tell me that the husband neighbor drove the dog up north. We lived in Michigan and dropped the dog off in the woods because I know your faces, and I still remember this, right? And I was upset for days. And why would my mom tell me? She knew how I was. So as a kid, I did not actually handle these things well. I was bowled over a lot. I had to learn how to like take that sensitivity and use it as a benefit, as a strength. But until I learned that, it knocked me over all the time. By the time I got to college, I just smoked a lot of pot to try and manage that.
But
You
to
know?
It's not unusual. Yeah.
Sell it down. Yeah, sell it down. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and sorry, there's weird questions coming in my head. Sorry, I got to ask because I'm always asked questions. I'm glad to ask you.
I like it.
I grew up with animals and had a pet cemetery, the whole thing there. The sensitivity was there. Do you find, or did you find working with them from the early days, even to now, that, how can I put this to you? The vibration of a horse is different than a guinea pig, is different than a turtle, or is it same? I know that sounds weird, but you know what I mean.
That's a great question.
It is a great question. For me, I don't really exactly know how to answer it because I kind of don't care what animal is what. If I'm connecting with an animal, it's that soul of that animal, it's that energy of that animal. And so, except that I haven't hung out personally with a lot of cats because I'm really allergic to them. But all the other animals, it didn't matter. It was more like the personality of that animal that mattered versus horse, dog, cat. Over time, I've learned there are certain ribbons of energy that kind of go through all dogs or all cats. But then when you get to know them better, you get in there and you get the personality, and you get why they're here, and you understand all of that. And it's just like all the individual people have these purposes and these energy signatures. So I don't know. I don't know how well I answered that question.
I think you answered really well, and I know Kelly, you do the same thing here. But I know that the personalities really stick out when I'm communicating with animals, with the pets. Their personalities, they might be unconditional love. Yes, they have unconditional love, but their personalities are very strong. Don't you find?
I had a situation recently where I was doing a reading for a woman, and as I'm talking to the woman, I'm talking about the soul that I'm communicating with is this female who's very smart, very bright, and be like this. It tells me your name, and finally the woman says to me, "That's my dog." I said, "What?" I was stunned. I would have sworn on my life. And she said, "Well, that dog was my best friend." I thought it was I did not know. I could not tell the difference.
Yeah, they know as much as a human soul. Like, I don't connect with a dog and the dog's like, I don't understand your education. Like, they know all of it at the soul level. They have access to all that information. My preference, though, is always to connect with animals over humans because that's my human preference.
Danielle,
I kind of like animals better usually.
Yeah. And a question, just a subtle question, because I mean, now I work and Kelly works. And so when you're communicating with an animal who's still in the body, what's the difference between that and the ones that have passed out of the body in the animal world?
So an animal that's still in the body will have access to both the physical level of information and the soul level of information. So the physical level, meaning my foot hurts. I'm jealous of them. I'm cold. I want more food, or I love you so much, especially when you give me those treats. But an animal, and then they'll also have access to the bigger picture information, like why they're here and what they're doing and who they're helping and all of that. But an animal that's crossed over, they obviously don't have the physical part, right? They're letting go of that part, but they can talk about it. Yeah. But an animal that has crossed over loves to talk about their purpose, and not just their purpose with the people that were in their life, but their purpose with like why they are here in the world, why they incarnated, what they're doing for humankind. Like they get this bigger picture view that they want to share as well. And I really, my heart is in connecting with animals that are on the other side for that reason.
Wow.
Yeah. And one of the things we're going to do in the workshop that we're doing together in these 4 days, one of the things you're going to cover, which Danielle's going to talk a lot about, is what the animals are doing in the afterlife.
Yeah. What the heck is it for animals? What are they doing? What are they seeing? What do they care about? What do they do with their day? I'm doing quote fingers.
And, you know, there's been talk, Danielle, about like animals have a kind of a connected universal soul instead of individual souls. What's your thought about that? That they have a group soul instead of the individuals. You've heard that? Have you heard that before? There's like a major group soul of them. And
I've heard of it. I haven't had any animals talk with me about that. They've shared more that they are here with a purpose, and that they've, as a species, so all the dogs, all the cats, whoever they are, they've all decided to incarnate here. But have you guys ever run into that of actually having an animal share, hey, I'm part of the group soul?
I have not.
I can't say I have. I can't say I have. But another question is like, just have to ask this. I get a chance to. So, what do you find the difference when? I mean, do you feel it? Like sometimes I do, where you have the animals communicating, and you know the human is kind of limited in its way, where the animal is so much more expansive, but the animal has to kind of bring it in a little bit so the human understands it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But so what the animals have shared with me is that they've mastered unconditional love. We all know they've mastered unconditional love, but we haven't. So there's literally no time that an animal doesn't have to make themselves a little bit smaller in order to be able to communicate with us.
That's great.
That's fascinating.
Isn't that great? Wow.
Sometimes they're having to make themselves way, way smaller, but they still always have to do it to communicate with us.
How does it work, Danielle, with when is it time? How do you help parents, animal parents, know when it's time for them to go to the other side? How do you do that? Or how do they communicate that to you?
So it's funny because I just caught myself smiling. You asked me this really challenging question and I'm like, oh, because it's so beautiful to me. But I was just on Facebook earlier today and someone wrote, you are smiling too much. You should be treating this subject differently, blah, blah, blah. And my experience with animals on the other side is from them. So it's not when I'm working with somebody who they're wondering, hey, is it time for my pet to pass? Yes, that is so hard. And yet so often the animal is going to say, hey, yes, it's my time. Here's what I want. Here, the animal, if I can get that information directly from the animal and share it with those humans, it will be perfect. Because it will be exactly what the animals want those humans to know. And whether that is hard or whether it lands softly, I know that this animal is doing their best for those people.
Yeah, the animals are so beyond us.
Yeah,
I know.
They're so advanced.
It makes me seem really smart, but I'm not. It's really just, I just get the information, give it over.
And Daniel, what do you think about like several days before, let's say the animal has to go put down, and the parent will talk to them and can talk to them about that, whether it's telepathically, right? They would talk to them. Would that be a good thing for people to do before they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so if your animal's getting ready to cross over, they want connection. They want us to be as regular with them as we can. Like, it's funny because we think we need to do all these special things and it would be great, take them out for that last dog ice cream and that last beach ride and all of that. And those are beautiful pictures and beautiful experiences for us. But when I talk to animals about it, they're like, yeah, that was cool, but I just really wanted to be together. You know, it's nothing bad, but the animals aren't asking necessarily for that unless it's for their human's greatest and highest good. If that animal knows my human needs this, then they're going to say to somebody like me, hey, let's go do that beach ride, or let's, whatever it is, because they know the greater purpose of this whole situation.
And the outcome of that.
Yeah. And they know how it's going to help that human with their passing.
I have a question again. You can go these questions. Sorry, Danielle. I came from Europe, of course. Litter mates. What's the connection with litter mates?
Litter mates. Where is this
coming from? Where that came from, but
litter mates.
I love that question.
Isn't that weird
Well,
question?
what do you mean?
Yes.
So I just saw in my head like a let's say a doggy, mommy, and little puppies feeding, like 4 or 5 baby puppies there. And what is their connection with each other as the souls, those individual souls? Again, I just curious. I don't know what that means, but is there
So
anything with like one passes over and talks about the litter mate? I miss my brother or sister, or it's just maybe it's similar to humans when we have our contracts. But anything stand out for litter mates? I mean, I don't know why I'm asking that, but I think
litter mates.
it's a
I'm
weird one.
thinking about the best way to answer it.
Like some kitties are blind, other kitties are fine in that litter, but some are blind. So there might be some physical things too. I mean, I don't know it's with humans, but just I don't know why I was asking that question. But litter mates, yeah.
So there is a connection. They have their normal, hey, we're litter mates connection, but they also have their soul level connection. They came here to do a job. That group came here as that group to do a job. That's not a group soul. It's more like this group came together to do the job. And they could come together to do the job for one person and then separate out and do many other jobs for other people. But they actually still can contact each other. They're still in connection with each other. It's not like when one goes to Arizona and one goes to California, now they never see each other. They still have that deeper connection going on. We feel like they don't. We get all worried about it, but they actually do.
Well, humans are all about separativeness. A question also I have, which I'm asked all the time, and I don't know how to answer this. I mean, I do, but to a point. But I'm going to ask you as the expert here. Okay, so many people say, you shouldn't eat animals. It's not good. Why would you eat some animals? Why do you do that? What's your take on that? The animals that come back and they're used as
Are you asking?
I don't know.
I think he's asking, should we be vegan?
Because I personally think that the animals know what is going to happen and they're to support the humans. And, I don't think there's anything bad about that because people are like, you must be ashamed of eating cattle. I'm like, well, no, I think that's their what they're doing this lifetime. They're here to support the human. Does that make any sense?
No, yes, because I agree. Based on what they've shared with me, animals all have a purpose in coming here. Our pets are here for one type of purpose. Other animals are here to be eaten. Other animals are here to be a big example for many, many people at once. And eating animals is one of those things. Also, all the animals that we know of that die tragically are also having a bigger purpose. And I'm not equating eating with dying tragically. It's just another big purpose type thing where some animals are here to kind of show up for everybody, so everybody notices, to help us evolve, help mass consciousness evolve.
I mean, they're such healers, aren't they? I mean, if we just generally, they're incredible healing beings, eh?
Yeah, and they'll sacrifice themselves for us, and that's what cattle are doing. That they're doing that. Yeah, it's a tough subject though. I don't eat meat. I do really love butter.
I love butter.
I'm vegan, but butter.
Yeah.
Which is not the best it is what it is. I feel like that it can be such a sticky thing to talk about because people think, well, it should be this way or it should be that way. Right. And what I have come to learn from the animals is everybody is on their own path with this, and everybody has something to learn from it, from how they eat. There's something in there to learn for all of us. And usually the animals are in there teaching that to us.
And you know what I do, a practice I've done for years now. When I do eat meat, and I do, I bless it. I thank them when I'm being. I thank the animal, and that's gonna just every time I do that because it's come the habit. Really, it's true appreciation.
My husband eats meat.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah, I don't cook it. I don't know how to make it.
I don't either.
I grew up vegetarian. I don't know.
Me too.
I'm like, you do that.
Me too. Janet String has a question here. She says, my current dog feels to me that he is the reincarnation of all the dogs I've ever lived with. And is this possible?
It doesn't. No. I'm going to say it like this. From my experience, one soul is one soul. So there's not many souls that come together to become one. It's always one. reincarnating as one. But totally understand, and actually I'm going to talk about this quite a bit in the class,
Yes.
why she would feel that there are similarities and characteristics and personality traits that remind her of all those other animals. Should I leave it as a cliffhanger?
Yeah.
It's a good one. That's
Yeah.
a good cliffhanger. And talk about, now you guys are going to be teaching. If they sign up today, what happens?
Well, if they sign up today, first of all, they get a free ticket to my December 1st evening of Spirit Messages. And then they get 4 live courses of workshops with us and a whole bunch of other stuff as well from past years of doing the animal course. And different ways of learning about telepathic connections with them, how to speak to them, how to listen to them. So all of this stuff it's on the school, the JVP School of Mystical Arts. You can see what you get. It's a lot of stuff there. I can actually read it for you too. 4 live interactive workshops. So then you get 5 on-demand video lessons that teach you about animal communication, pet healing, and pet mediumship. Talking to your pets when they pass on. You'll hear incredible animal communication stories, explore the world of pet healing, and learn tried and true animal communication techniques. Plus, in the last live workshop, Danielle and I will deliver a personal message about your pet's health, happiness, and state of mind. And Danielle, I don't know how you work with this, but for me, I could just tune into it. But I find if they bring a photo of the animal, for me, I can tune in really quickly that way. How do you work?
I like nothing.
Like nothing.
I prefer no photo. I prefer a name, and I like to know the species. But I feel like it's pretty fast for me if I just have that information. Other information can actually slow me down a little bit.
And so that'll be the last workshop, the live. We're going to give everyone that comes on, I believe we're going to try to everybody a little bit information about their pet.
We're going to work hard.
We're going to be working hard, but it's great. We love it. It's fun. We love it. So,
And what are the dates, James, of this class?
It is this next Thursday, tomorrow, Tuesday.
First Tuesday? Okay.
Thursday.
Wow.
And then the following Tuesday and Thursday.
Wow. Okay.
So I know.
We're
talking about it. We were,
and I think Renee
did up at 4.
Did Renee put up the sign up? Renee, is it up there?
Right there. JV School of Mystical Arts,
okay.
Spiritual Animals. Yeah, it's all on the school page. If you want to look it up, everybody get the details. But it's Tuesday, Thursday, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty juicy, if I do say that's the right word, because we really came up with some really incredible. And Danielle, I mean, you've done some incredible stuff. I'm finding it fascinating about the other side, what they do on the other side, how connected they are with our own karma, certain things they're doing for us. I mean, it's how they bring other animals into your life.
Yeah.
Right. That's a really interesting
Well,
one.
can we talk about that just for a moment? How do they bring other animals? Because whenever I've lost a dog, it seems to me very quickly one is brought to me. It's the wildest thing.
Danielle, you want to jump in?
So interesting that it always seems like it happens very quickly for you. And that it's so because the animals that come into your life are supposed to come into your life, it means that you're ready very quickly, but it doesn't always happen very quickly. Some people aren't ready very fast, and they'll be like, oh, I want another animal. I'm trying to get another, and it's just not working. And it's because the timing isn't quite right. Often the animals that have crossed over are actually helping. They're kind of helping arrange things to bring those in, but that's just personal to you. For a lot of people, it doesn't happen quickly.
And it happened for you quickly too, James. With Pearl.
Yeah, exactly what Danielle's saying. When Maisie died, and I was really distraught. It was just weird. And then all of a sudden, my friend Chip came to visit me, and he had a dog, Rosie, Australian Shepherd, and her and I got along incredibly well. She wanted to sleep in the bed with me. She wouldn't leave me alone. And Chip said, "Are you going to take my dog?" I'm like,
"You tried."
I tried. And then so she was such a connection. I thought, well, maybe I should get another dog. And because I asked Maisie, my dog, please help me get another dog, and you'll give me the way of doing it. And I felt very strongly with Rosie that this is the way in. So I asked the breeder, and I said, would you have another breeding coming up? She said, yes, in a year. And it was really interesting, but Maisie would come to me, I mean, every day. And she said, I'm working on this. And finally Pearl was born, and Minnie was born, and the dog was born there in that litter. And it was so interesting because I didn't see Maisie for a while. I'm like, where is she? Because I don't see her. I see her every day by my desk, my office. And I didn't see her probably 2 or 3 weeks. And then finally, I'm driving back literally from Palm Springs. I'm driving back, and she shows herself right in front of me, and said, and she didn't look good. She didn't look good. And I was like, what's going on? Maisie, what's the matter? And she gave me the thought, I've been preparing the new puppies for their stable. And she was worn out. Boy, did I should have known that, because once I got those puppies, I was worn out a month after that. So that was a good sign.
Totally.
Yes, she prepared for them. No doubt about it.
Very cool that she was coming to you to let you know.
Yeah.
They don't do that for everybody. They do that for some people, but she obviously knew that that's what you needed.
We had that connection as well, and Danielle, I never felt, it's really interesting, the experience of that, losing an animal. When Maisie passed away, and I had to put her down, the whole thing, and I never grieved her, which is really interesting. I'm like, why am I not grieving her? And the thought came to me from her, because we lived every moment to the fullest. So there's nothing to grieve.
Wow. You really did.
See that now, whether it's a human or animal, when you live life in the moments, the fullness of every moment, there's nothing left. You're living that out.
Here's a good question. This is from Teresa Miller. She says, are animals kinder than humans?
Why? We don't even need to ask that question.
Right?
Right? Animals believe in themselves. They believe in their capabilities. They don't feel badly about themselves. When we're not kind, it's because we feel badly in some way. If I'm being mean, something's going on inside me about myself. Animals don't have that.
And Danielle, I think there's no judgment with animals. There's non-judgment.
Yeah. Why would they bother? They feel good here. They feel good within, so that's what they're able to bring out.
It's really true. It's really, really true.
Here's a question from Joette Balsama. She says, hi, Kellee, James, and Danielle. How do our animal family members who've just crossed over, how do they view our new fur babies entering the family and enjoying the form of physical home?
We're going to talk about that one a lot.
Part of our workshop. Yeah, it's part of the
workshop. Good.
Because a lot of people get very super concerned, like, oh, if I get a new one, I'm going to feel bad. They're going to feel bad. Are they going to be jealous? Or are they going to be, making mischief so that the new one can't adjust? That's a good common question.
It's so human, isn't it? It's so human. Those questions.
But we don't want to hurt them. We don't want to hurt them, even though they're on the other side. But that's coming from so many of us don't understand how the other side really works.
Danielle, I want to go back to the personalities of animals, because once or twice I've had an animal communication where the animal said, the new dog is eating out of my bowl. Why can't you get its own bowl? They were so possessive of the bowl. Or have you had some of those sorts of things?
I got lost. What is it?
So an animal would come through from the other side, and they'd get a new puppy, let's say, and the animal that passed over said, "That dog is eating out of my bowl. Why don't you give it a new bowl?" Have you had some?
So what I have found, remember how I talked about there's that physical level they talk at, they connect at, and there's the bigger picture level. If you connect at the physical level, they're going to be like, they're eating out of my bowl. They're in my bed. What's going on here? Or, and they retain that personality. And then when you connect with them at the deeper level, they're like, I know what's going on here. I get it. The new puppy needs to do this and they have it all together. They know what the big picture is, but, and that's a challenge for like a new animal communicator to not understand that there is a deeper level where that animal has all of that wisdom. And then that can actually make it a challenge to receive a reading where it seems like the animal is just very upset about what's going on in their home now that they've crossed over.
Mm. And Daniel, you have a really nice animal communication course. Actually, I mean, you really go full force in teaching everything you can about it. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I have a whole pathway through. I have 2 beginner courses and then 2 advanced courses, and I certify people in becoming soul level animal communicators. My beginner course is online, and actually, all my courses are online or webinar based, and I really teach people how to connect. But you guys know how when you're learning to connect, whether it's mediumship or any other type of psychic development, there's all this like personal stuff that comes up and all of your little like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, or the planets haven't aligned again for me to do it again. And we come up with all this stuff. So in my courses, I've really, because I've seen it happen so many times, I've incorporated helping people with that part. as well as the animals are helping people with that part as well. I feel like they're the secret little power pills. So my courses kind of take that tact all the way through.
Right. It's great. And I have a question for you, which everybody asks you, and I'm going to ask you. When we pass over, are our animals there to greet us?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And more. Yeah.
And more. Yeah.
And more.
Yeah. And you see all of them. I mean, once you've had his kids and you see them all, I mean, that bond of love continues on. Huh?
Yeah.
Unconditional love.
How does it work with service dogs?
Oh, good question.
How does what work with service?
Well, I mean, is it a contract, a spiritual contract that they've made to come over to be a service animal here?
It's the same as my dog has a contract with me to help me, and she just has a different job than what a service dog has.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a different type of service. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. They all have it, and they all have it. It's really according to what you need. So they know you, and they know how to look at you and be like, all right, Kelly, let's see here. Yep, I know exactly how I'm going to help her.
Well, then I need to talk to you about my dog Otis, because that one, I just don't understand him. He and I just have a communication problem.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about the workshop, Kelly, about that miscommunication between the animal and the human. We're going to cover a lot of that because it happens more frequently than we think. It happens quite often. And I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to throw it out anyway, because I know it's strange, but animals that are like dog shows, like Best of Show, those doggy shows.
Great question. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, obviously it's probably for the human, that they're doing it for the human, but is there any part of the animal that, whether it's a cat show or a dog show, or that, has to come in fulfillment of some kind, or what do you think of that?
I haven't run into it.
Yeah,
now, remember, I haven't run into it. I am getting all my information from the animals, right?
Yeah.
Like the animals are my source. So we need to take that into account. But, a dog who's doing dog shows,
right?
That could be the way that they're helping their human.
Right.
And it may not be that they're helping their human by winning. It may be that they're helping their human by it's not working, or it may it's not. Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Wow, that's actually deep. Yeah.
Yes.
I like that.
And I think it's so funny, Danielle. Kelly,
the way we humans want it to be that animal is helping us, but it's very often the opposite way that we don't want it to be that they're using to help us.
Wow, I love it. June Collins asks, what can she do to help her dog with anxiety?
So my number one thing is always to look at the self and look at how she is within herself. Is she hyper focusing on the dog? Is she watching the dog all the time? How is she feeling? Is she nervous? Is she trying to calm the dog too much? Which, when we're trying to calm someone, it's okay. It's okay. This is not calm, right? So we are very often the first step that has to be taken. And then when we start taking care of ourselves, and look, right, they're always helping us be better people. When we start taking care of ourselves, the anxiety starts going.
This is a good question from Lisa Jamuzian. She says, are our animals hanging out on the other side with family and friends that have passed?
Yes, they are. They absolutely are. Yeah. We're going to talk a lot about that in the class, to know, like, what are they doing while they're hanging out? And how many of the family and friends are there, and which ones are there?
I was really surprised, Danielle, when my mother passed away. She came to me about 6 months later, and she was with our childhood dog.
So cool.
40 years. I was stunned and floored. And the funny thing is, I had that very day on my desk, and I don't know how it appeared, there was a picture of my childhood dog.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Of course, the strangest thing, because I had no idea where it could have possibly come from. Yeah, my mom.
Not or your dog.
Or my dog, Yasha was his name. I was stunned.
Very cool.
And Danielle, I think I know. I think I don't know what you think about this, that the animals can materialize much easier than humans. Like, they can make things happen and materialize things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's the biggest hurdle is really us.
Human.
They can do so much stuff from the other side to show up, to let us know that they're there, and they do it. But we even people who desperately want to see them will not believe it when they've seen them. I have people write it on my social media. So I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw my dog on the bed and I was petting him for an hour and it was amazing. And do you really think was this my dog? And so they had the physical experience, and yet it's that fear of disappointment, right? I don't want to be wrong. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Elizabeth Ducati says, "Do dogs pick you?"
Oh, good question.
We're gonna. That is another one we're gonna be talking about.
Another workshop.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there you can be sure that any animal that comes into your life in any way is supposed to be in your life. Doesn't mean they're supposed to be there long, but it does mean they're supposed to be there.
And I have a question for you, because I do this with Pearl, and I do more with Pearl than I do with Maisie, but I talk to Pearl. So if I'm going, maybe because I own the house of Pearl myself, but I'll ask her, does she want to go? I'll ask her, what do you want to do? I'll ask her, I communicate, what do you think about that? And I get a signal back. I get pictures. I get an emotion next to the pictures.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. They definitely send pictures. Are pretty easy for animals. Yeah. But I think the easiest thing for animals to do are actually sounds, because we know the sounds of our animals. We know their bark in the distance, or the bumping against the door, or whatever the thing is, and we know those as specific sounds to our animals. Our animals will use our knowledge and our relationship with them. So you getting a picture and emotion, it's not a picture of something you don't recognize, right, James?
Right.
And the emotion is the way you get the confirmation.
And mostly the emotion, and now she is a Pisces, but mostly emotion and sensitive. She's very sensitive, very smart, Pearl. But that Piscean energy, that sensitive, intuitive energy is we're very connected in that. More so, a little bit deeper than most I've had other animals, because I don't know, it's just this intuitive connection.
So I call that a soul animal. So we all have these, you see people write on the internet, this is my soul dog died, my soul cat died. It's a pretty common phrase, but some animals, because of, and we'll talk about this tomorrow or this in our class, some animals, you really do have a stronger kind of like heartfelt, and it's so many people feel so bad. They're like, I have 4 dogs. I love them all. And I feel so bad.
That's
that I don't
me.
love them. Right?
Totally.
And there's a reason for it. It has to do with what that animal is helping you learn about yourself.
I mean, there's such great reading of energy.
Think about that, but I think you're right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I have a blast from the past.
What's that? Oh,
wow.
That's Bambi on the bottom, and this was in 1989, 90. I rescued her in the street, and I rescued each day. I put a little food out and be closer and closer, and she ended up sitting on my lap. And that's Sheena on top of her. That's a Cocker Spaniel something, and we were together. That was right after the earthquake. That was after the 1990.
Oh my gosh.
I had
the Northridge earthquake, James?
Northridge earthquake.
Wow, look at you. Wow.
And there I am with my hair.
Wow.
I love that the one on top is sound asleep.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, Sheena. She was great. Dumb as doornail, really dumb, but great. Beautiful.
I love that. Gail Hayden has a good question. She says, how about those dogs that other family members somehow drop off? Was the dog for me, or was the dog for them first?
Both.
Oh, both. Yeah.
Any animal that comes into your life has a purpose with you. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's a short purpose or a long purpose.
Wow. And here's a great one. Hope Burton says, can dogs really tell if people are good? All the neighborhood dogs go bonkers for pets when they see me, even random dogs I haven't met yet.
Can dogs really tell if people are good? So that's because, think about it, because they've mastered unconditional love, they love everybody. They know what every person needs to work on. They know what their challenges are. They know what the problems are. So I haven't had an animal say to me, this person's evil, this person's bad. But animals will say, this person is working on X, Y, and Z. This is going on with this person. But they don't, they're not judging good or bad. I haven't run into it.
I have a really interesting insight, if I could share this, because I go to the dog park every morning. Every morning I go to the dog park.
And I've been there with them. It's amazing.
And I've noticed that the animals, the dogs are great, little puppies are great, but I noticed that they bring on the human's behaviors. They'll act out what that human is feeling. They'll act it out. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And a part of that, not part of that, that is because of what they're teaching their human and the method that they are using to teach their human. And that's actually one of the big things I want to talk about is why that exists. Why do some animals take on their human stuff, their humans' behaviors, their humans' personalities? Because they're very purposeful in it. It's never a coincidence. It's never by accident. And it's never because the person did something bad or wrong and they're being punished. And I think that's what so many of us worry is, oh, my dog is having stomach issues because I'm having stomach issues, and I'm a bad person now because now my dog has stomach issues, but it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
No.
What about specifically people who have abused animals?
Good question.
Meaning,
how do the animals feel about that?
they still hold, they've mastered unconditional love. You should hear the incredible things that animals that have been abused say to me about the people that have abused them. I don't mean incredible bad. I mean, just like how it's like they don't, and this is so hard to say because I had abuse in my lifetime and it has been hard for me to find forgiveness because I feel very wronged. And yet the animals don't, when somebody's like, do they forgive me? I did this bad thing. I hurt my animal. And I'm going to say when that's a mistake, but even when it's not a mistake, the animals don't ever answer, I forgive that person. They don't speak in that way because they don't view it as something to forgive. If everything that we are experiencing is us growing and learning and evolving and becoming better people, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have accidents. We're going to make bad, horrible decisions along the way. And the animals know this.
Danielle, what you're saying, which I want to get into, just hit my head, my mind, that this experience happened when I used to go to Brazil, like 20-something years ago. And we went to this lady in Brasilia. And this shows about animals. It's pretty amazing how they'll take on human conditions and kind of like transmute it, bring it through in their physicalness to let the human be healed. But there's a lady in the middle of Brasilia and was UFO territory. And she was an incredible healer. And you go into the room, you just lie down, and she would work on you, didn't say anything. You closed your eyes and you felt the energy running, and she had crystals or whatever. And I remember, and I would sit in the corner watching some of the participants one at a time come through the healing. And I'll never forget it. But this dog would come in. Every single one of those healings, the dog would come in first, the participant, then the dog would lay down. And then the participant was finished. The healing was done. She was done with that. The dog would leave first, and then the participant would leave. And I asked the lady, the healer, I said, what is the story with this animal? She goes, I don't know. She goes, this animal showed up and I started doing healing work, and it would come in and it takes on the conditions of that human, takes on, and then goes outside and throws up and gets it all out. Isn't that wild?
Yeah. I have not heard of it before. Have not heard of that happening in that way.
Transing, taking that condition on, almost like materializing that from the etheric level to the physical level and emotional, and bringing it out.
But if you look at it, the constant was that woman.
Yeah.
Right. So our human brain goes to that the dog's really helping the clients, I think, or the patients, whatever we're going to call them.
Yeah.
But what she is really witnessing is how this dog is helping her clear the room, balance, hold space, and do this work.
Yeah.
Because she must have needed that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. They're pretty incredible. I got to say, pretty incredible.
Yeah. I love that she's like, I don't know.
She goes, I don't know. It just showed up one day when I started doing the healing, and then it goes out after every client. It goes out and it throws up, and then it comes back when I'm. And she doesn't talk to the dog either. She doesn't even talk to this dog.
Wow.
It's pretty wild. Animals are very special.
Really cool.
So tell us again, how do people sign up for your class?
So they go to the JVP School of Mystical Arts right now, the animal course. And again, if you sign up tonight, you get a free ticket to an Evening of Spirit, December 1st. And you have 4 live workshops with us. And we have an opening to all different types of information and past experiences, past classes, and so forth. And we're going to talk about everything, right, Danielle? I mean, God.
It's going to be a great
a lot of notes right here for what we're doing. Yes.
Wow.
Pretty thorough, everybody. So if you're interested, please.
But it's fun. It's going to be fun. And we're also doing readings as well
together. Doing a lot of readings. How long are the readings are you going to do the reading for? A minute to 2 minutes? Depends on the animal, right? What they want to say.
Yeah, it depends on the animal.
It depends on the animal.
I mean, and the other cool thing about the animals is they know who needs to talk so that the message works for more people. Yeah. And I already saw that something we were saying here. A few people were like, oh, that was for me. Oh, I needed to hear that piece. Like the animals are already working that.
Yeah, so true.
So true. Janet String says Eckhart Tolle calls animals frequency holders.
And I would agree. I call it unconditional love, but they are holding that vibration all the time and trying to get us to come along.
Yeah.
I like that Rainbow Bridge, the poem about the animals that pass over the Rainbow Bridge. And it takes into consideration all the different frequencies of color and light. And when you come together, all those colors come together, it forms white light. And I just think that animals have all those frequencies going on. You know, they have all those different energies. But what great teachers and beings, I guess you'd say.
This is a fun one, probably to leave on a high note here. Unina Smith says, hello, everyone. Have you connected with dogs that have skydived or surfed or other extreme sports? And did they have something cool to relate to their owner? Have you connected with dogs that have done anything like this? It's a great question.
I have not connected with dogs that have I haven't, no.
I actually have. I
have.
I actually skydived with their owner. And there was such a passion for their owner that they did it for the owner, and they loved it. They loved the fun of it. But like you said earlier, Danielle, they loved it for the fun of their owner. They were supporting the owner. Exactly what you said.
Remember that dog that this was like in the early days of social media, and the dog was on a skateboard and it always skateboarded everywhere, and there were 9 million videos. That dog was so happy to be doing that for that guy. For that guy. And then also all of us who were watching, it lifted our spirits, but that was really for that guy.
Yeah. The joy that it brought to everybody who witnessed it.
Oh yeah. It's so true. Oh my gosh. Okay. So what time is the show the class that you guys are going to be teaching? If they can't take it live, can they? Yes, they can get the. How does that work? Of course. It'll be available to them. So they'll get a portal, and it'll be available to them as they sign up and register. They get like a student portal, and it'll be filled with the live course. If they can't make it on time, they'll be filled with it. They can watch anytime they want and rewatch it as much as they want as well. So
and it's recorded.
Yeah, it's all recorded. The JVP School of Mystical Arts, that's the best thing to do. And I think Renee put that on the chat here, that link. So that's the best place to go. And yeah. And so 4 o'clock tomorrow, 4 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow.
No, 3 o'clock Pacific.
3 o'clock. I'm sorry, it's 3 o'clock Pacific time.
Because I gotta go to bed.
That's right. You're in Maine.
My bedtime, way past my bedtime.
So you're an early bird. You're not a late owl. You're an early bird.
Yes.
Do you ever have animals speak to you in your sleep?
Sorry?
Do you ever have the animals speak to you in your sleep? And you got to write? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
They show up a lot for me in my sleep. Yeah. Especially if I haven't been connecting much while awake.
Well, Danielle, I look forward to working with you tomorrow at 3. It's going to be great. And thank you very much for staying.
Thanks for your joining us tonight. And your class is going to be fantastic.
Thank you for having me. This is really fun. Love the random questions, James. That was awesome. Random.
Have so much fun.
We have a lot more coming in.
It's going to be a great one.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Danielle.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks so much. And thank you for welcoming me back home. And we'll see you hopefully tomorrow. Thanks, Kelly.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kelly White.
That was great. Maybe we changed some lives.
And maybe opened up some minds.
Which way do I turn?
Right. I mean left.
The James and Kelly Show.